Marcy.
Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be with you tonight. It's really nice to not have to be outside. I heard that someone said that there is a little bit of audio, some static. Maybe we could start by having everybody muted. I don't know if that will help, but maybe we could send a chat to Peter if you hear anything that we don't think should be there. In the meantime, Shabbat Shalom. We're here tonight with Don McGahan and our Cantorial soloist guest, Turia Stark. Peter Rosenfeld and Karen Breen are running the show. Actually, takes two to fill in for Olivia. And thank you both for being part of tonight's service. So since it's we've just been talking about how nice it is to be together, we'll say.
You muted yourself, Sharon.
You just went to mute. You accidentally muted yourself mid-sentence.
No, I think I did that.
Welcome everyone on page 10 with Hinei Matov. How good it is to be together on this Shabbat.
On in your room? Grandma, are you getting sound?
Privilege to invite Tom Travers to light and bless Shabbat candles. In the book, it's on page 2.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As the brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Tom's a member of our adult Bar Mitzvah class. Thank you for your participation. Continue welcoming Shabbats with welcoming the Shabbat angels with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Mochem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We sing a song of joy on page 12, Lechu Neranana. Please join me. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai. Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Lechu Neranana, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Tzui Shenu Nikana. Sing out joyously, sing a new song on page 13. we welcome the Sabbath Bride with Lecha Dodi on page 20. We'll do verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. Ya la 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 Lecha Dodi, ya la 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 Likrat Kala, ya la 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 B'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat, Likabela, ya la 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 Lecha Dodi, ya la 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 Likrat Kala, ya la 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 B'nei Shabbat. Rodef Shalom Ateret Bala Gam Besimcha Uvtola Toch Emuneh Am Segula Boy דודי. לה 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 לקראת כלה. לה 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 בני שבת. בני שבת לכל בילה.
If we were in person, we'd be able to wish one another Shabbat Shalom walking across the room or turning around. So if you'd like to just share a Shabbat message in the chat, wish people Shabbat Shalom. If you're from somewhere outside of Pittsburgh, we'd love to know where you are and have an opportunity to greet one another after we've greeted the angels and the bride. We greet one another.
Hi, Tim and Marcy.
Hi,
And
Jay.
Jay.
Hi, Jay. Shabbat
I'm over-
Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
I'm from Toledo, Ohio.
Yay,
Shabbat
Ohio.
Shalom.
OH.
Ruth, Nancy,
Hi there.
Karen,
Indianapolis.
Bart, Terry, Helen.
And
Go ahead and continue to
Peter?
write messages in the chat, and we will turn to the Psalm for Shabbat on page 22, Psalm 92.
Just to-
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר הצדקה, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בחינוך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, ומעשה ידיך ארנים. בגלו מעשיך אדוני, מאור עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. We invite you to rise in body or spirit for the Chatzi Kaddish as we prepare for the call to worship. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
יעמד יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל, בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו.
Amen.
יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך. יתברך וישתבח, ויפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה
בריחו.
לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה וימרו.
Amen.
Yai, 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 yai,
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma potech sha'arim, uvitfuna meshana itim, machalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, v'mishmerotehem baraket kirtzono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo. L'chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Continue with Ahavat Olam. Oh, I missed the cue. Page Ahavat Olam on page 32. All right, sorry. This is a little bit different, so I apologize. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai, our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we'll meditate on your laws and your commandments. We'll rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will reflect on them, for they are life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel.
Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael. Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai echad. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto leolam vaed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha. V'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher Anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha v'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha וכתבתם המזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Continue now with Micha Mocha, the Song of Redemption.
Say Baruch atah Adonai, Go'el Yisrael. Moving to page 43, our people's prayer for a shelter of peace, and in this case, love and understanding among us. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkiveinu, L'shalom. V'ha'amidenu, Shomreinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu, Sukkot shlomecha. Hashkiveinu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkiveinu, L'shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
And we continue on the next page with Vashamru. Vashamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat le'dorotam berit olam. Uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam le'olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashevi shavat vayinafash.
We rise in body or in spirit for the tefillah on page 46. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב והושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בגבורות ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We turn now to Misha Barak, a prayer for healing, healing of body, healing of spirit. And though this week has brought great news of some people that we know being vaccinated, other people that we don't know, but new vaccinations, there's still so much sickness and so much pain and so much hardship in the world. I think of those whose names we don't know who are experiencing illness in body or spirit. Think also of those who we do know and whose names we have to read from a list. If you have other names that you'd like to add, please do so in the chat, and I'll come to them after I read these names. We hold in our hearts tonight Rabbi Marcy Bellows, Millard Balloon, Alex Botkin, Brenda Booch, Olivia Burton, Fran Conway, Charlotte Cornwell, Bob Culver, David Dorenberg, Jacob Eisenfeld, Herbert Ferguson, Alice Flokos, Marcia Gross, Caleb Johnson, Naum Kaplan, Sylvia Kasparovsky, Lee Kramer, Miranda Larson, Judith Levison, Robert Marcus, Michael McHugh, Andrea McHugh, Nehemiah McHugh, Kristen Woodmeyer, Millie Morey, Lev Podorovsky, Ruth Rubenstein, Michelle Grace Schaefer, Pat Shore, Joan Shear, Jackie Student, Rabbi Ellen Dreyfus, Weinberg Dreyfus, Joan Weiss, Arlene Wolk, Doreen Zisla, Barbara Dahlberg, Joel Berg, Deborah Fish, Jane Bashir, Luna Nix. May all of them find healing speedily and fully. We sing together, Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishe Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I'd like to talk for a few minutes tonight about a holiday that was observed today, Asara B'Tevet. I bet you that's not what, I bet you thought I was going to say something else, right? Asara B'Tevet, today is actually the 10th of the Hebrew month of Tevet. It's the day on which we mark the beginning of the downfall of the first temple in Jerusalem in 586 and 587 BCE. This ominous date is one of the 4 fast days on our calendar, which means no eating. This is a short fast, sunrise to sunset. It marking just different historical events connected to the destruction of the first temple. But actually, I just wanted to make sure you knew it was the 10th of Tevet, because I do want to talk about Christmas. Recently, Reform rabbis on Facebook that I follow in a group have been discussing what they will or won't say tonight. Someone put up a question, what are you going to talk about? Other people responded. So I'd like to share with you a few of those answers. Of course, I made them anonymous. So this is one. I will acknowledge those who celebrate Christmas and hope it's okay. I will not discuss it in my sermon and will just lead a Shabbat service. Someone else said, we are doing a lighthearted service, calling it Shabbat Goes to the Movies. Of course, playing on the trope of Jews going to the movies in past years when you could go to a movie because there wasn't anything else to do. Now it's Netflix. She said, or they said, service liturgy is our usual melodies, but introductions are 2 to 3 minute clips from about 5 movies that connect to liturgical and theological themes. So for example, One of them was a little clip of Fiddler on the Roof, Shabbat prayer after candle lighting, and Yoda teaching Luke about the Force before the Shema. And then the last one I'll share, someone wrote, I will decide tomorrow what I will talk about. That was yesterday. I will decide tomorrow what I will talk about, but I am certain that I will not mention Christmas in any way. In all my years before I attended rabbinical school, I lived and worked in environments where Christmas was omnipresent. I saw my synagogue as the only place where I could let go of that and focus on Jewish texts and ritual. I know that at least some of my congregants need a Christmas-free zone. So that's what some people are doing. So on this theme, I chose to speak about Christmas a little bit, Jews on Christmas specifically, because on Facebook, I found a meme, maybe some of you saw it, called Types of Jews on Christmas. I'm going to give you sort of an outline with some of my own observations to fill it up. So according to this, there are 8 archetypes, or maybe they're stereotypes, you can decide, of Jews on Christmas. Okay, so the first one is the media stereotype Jew. This is the person who watches Netflix. In previous years, as I mentioned, it would be actually going to a real movie theater, who knows all the words to Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song, and who eats takeout Chinese food. This, and about Chinese takeout, I have this, I don't think this is real, but I'm going to share it with you. Any of you, some of you saw, some of you, I'm sure, have seen this. I'm not sure it's real. It doesn't matter. It's a sign that stands outside a restaurant. It says, the Chinese Restaurant Association of the United States would like to extend our thanks to the Jewish people. We do not completely understand your dietary customs, but we are proud and grateful that your God insists you eat our food on Christmas. The second one is the oblivious Jew, the one who forgets when Christmas is, and is the one for whom today is just another day. I'm going to come back to that category at the end because I think that's the one that's the most interesting to me. Number 3 is the Christmas adjacent Jew, the one who is obsessed with Christmas, has a collection of fuzzy Christmas socks, and listens to Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You beginning on November 1st. Christmas adjacent Jews post articles like this one that I saw in the Jerusalem Post called, Does Loving Christmas Make Me Less Jewish? With a subtitle, It's a Question I Have Struggled with for Years. So here's how that article begins. Jerusalem Post. I proudly identify as a Jewish person. I attend a conservative synagogue on the holidays, keep kosher in my house, and recite the Shabbat prayers on Friday night. I attended Jewish day school as a child and continue to speak Hebrew, albeit not well. But there are some things I do that others would argue makes me less Jewish. I eat seafood and non-kosher meat when I'm outside my home. I use technology on Shabbat, and I absolutely love Christmas. She describes that as she and her family drove home on Friday nights after Shabbat dinner at her grandparents' house in the winter. She was mesmerized by the houses meticulously decorated with Christmas lights. She says, I would often beg my parents to take the long route home so we could see more lights, my little face pushed up so close against the car's window that I would leave a foggy impression. But as I grew older, the guilt I felt that I was cheating on my religion escalated. Every holiday season, without fail, the haunting question that seems to resurface in my head appears. Does loving Christmas make me less Jewish? The article concludes, I remind myself to have self-compassion, and if engaging in the Christmas spirit brings me happiness, then I'll allow myself that joy. I should add that she really only came to that after talking to a Chabad Rebbetzin. The fourth one is the Grinch, who jokes about making war on Christmas and might be serious and is totally against those Starbucks holiday cups. The fifth one is the Mensch, who spends Christmas volunteering at soup kitchens, wants Christian friends to have a wonderful holiday. I'm going to give you 2 examples. One of them was Rabbi Amy Hertz, because a lot of you know her. She and her partner, Beth Goldstein, made over 100 cookies this year to share with essential workers and those in need, and they distribute them. So good for them. That was lovely. And then an Orthodox Jewish professional in Pittsburgh posted that she gave blood yesterday at the JCC as kind of like a mitzvah day thing, and wrote a very sweet message on Facebook saying, for everyone who celebrates Christmas and Kwanzaa, Orthodox Jewish woman. May we all be worthy of your prayers and focus on light, joy, acceptance and tolerance, unity and prosperity, justice, health, and especially love and peace. Merry, merry, happy, happy. Sixth is the Hanukkah Kaplan, the one who refuses to accept that Hanukkah is over. I noticed some Hanukkah decorations on some of these little squares here. The one who refuses to accept that Hanukkah is over eats latkes in a Hanukkah onesie on December 25th and listens to Puppy for Hanukkah on repeat all month. If you haven't heard Puppy for Hanukkah, you need to look it up. It's really adorable. 7 is the one the meme calls the interfaith Jew, but I think that this is actually any of us, or most of us probably, who have family and friends who celebrate Christmas. This Jew celebrates Christmas with their partner or friends or family. That's most of us. And 5, this is the last one, and I have absolutely no connection to this because I didn't watch all the Seinfeld episodes, but it's the Festivus Jew, the one who watches Seinfeld reruns all day, every day, and airs grievances year round. So that's the list. My guess is that most of us fall into one or more of these categories, and I hope you were figuring that out as I was reading. But the idea of defining ourselves with respect to a Christian holiday in the first place is interesting, and when you stop to think about it, it's kind of a bit disconcerting. But to live in the United States means to have at least some contact with Christmas, because it is everywhere. It is ubiquitous. Most Jews run into Christmas all the time. I said most Jews run into Christmas and not all Jews, because for some, for example, the closed Satmar Hasidic, those in the Satmar Hasidic community in New York, they don't run into Christmas. So I guess that's what the characterization oblivious Jew means, although they are not oblivious, because for them, Christmas is irrelevant, and there's a difference. Most of us do have more and less exposure to Christmas. Here's my own connection. I fall into a few categories. I do like Christmas lights, and as a child, I enjoyed seeing the Christmas trees of my parents' friends. I may have knocked over the neighbor's tree when I was 3. I may have written, not on purpose, I just knocked into it because, as you all know, I'm extremely graceful. So I may have knocked over the neighbor's tree when I was 3. I may have written Happy Hanukkah in an empty walnut shell ornament in a tree decorating event one year. And so then this family had this tradition that every year they would open one of the walnuts that was made the year before, and guess which one they opened first? My Happy Hanukkah one. As a public school kid of the 60s and 70s, I know the lyrics of most Christmas carols and songs. I decorated a Christmas tree with lights and ornaments and surprised my au pairs for 4 years running. The trees were in their room, so I'm fine with Christmas mostly. But there is one thing about Christmas that has always bothered me, and that is this thing called the Christmas spirit. People love to tell stories about being kind or generous in December and then attribute that kindness as a manifestation of Christmas spirit. And here's why I get annoyed. Does the idea of Christmas spirit imply that only Christians and only in December will be kind and generous? Jewish tradition, and frankly, good Christian theology and practice, teaches us that every day is an opportunity for showing compassion and generosity and kindness. When we call it Christmas spirit, it limits it and it excludes people. And it also puts a time limit on it. And for all those reasons, I don't like it. In this week's Torah portion, Vayigash, Judah, one of Jacob's sons, steps forward on behalf of his brothers, who are in Egypt, to reconcile with Joseph after their many years of estrangement. Rabbi Naama Kelman, who is the dean of the Hebrew Union College in Jerusalem, teaches that Judah steps forward to make peace in his family. Millennia later, Judah's namesake Judah Maccabee steps forward to rekindle the light in the temple darkened by oppression and war. She says, this winter, just after Hanukkah, at the time of Christmas and Kwanzaa, is a time for us to be lights in the world's darkness. In other words, not just because it's Christmas. It's not the Christmas spirit. It's a time when things are dark, and it's our job to be lights in the world's darkness. And if it were August, it would also be time, but we're talking about today. So Rabbi Kalman included a really interesting poem in her Devar Torah this week. I love the poem, and I love that she included it because it was written by a Palestinian poet named Mahmoud Darwish. And this prayer or poem offers us ways to bring healing and light every day. It's not just the Christmas spirit, every day. And here's the poem. As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget to feed the doves. As you conduct your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who seek peace. As you pay your water bills, think of others. Think of those who have only clouds to drink from. As you return home to your own home, think of others. Do not forget those who live in the street. As you sleep and count the planets, think of others. Some have no safe place to sleep. As you liberate yourselves with metaphors, think of others. Some have lost their right to speak. And as you think of the distant others, think of yourself and say, I wish I were a candle in their darkness. It's so beautiful. I wish I were a candle in their darkness. May each one of us in this dark time strive to be candles for others in their darkness. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue with Aleinu on page 282. Please rise in body or spirit.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
I'm so sorry, I couldn't get to the unmute button. My mouse just, I don't know where it was. Kaddish is on page 294. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and all those whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. Sherry Sklar Abel, Lillian Paul Sherry, our dear Georgia Davidson, Max Goldman, Thomas Gray, Carol Howes, Samuel Levine, Arnold Silverman, Albert Weiner, Kenneth Josselson, Kathy Devine. We also remember those who died at this season in years past and whose yahrzeit we mark on this Shabbat. Stuart Arnheim, Harry Breen, Ida Dubar, Pearl Gollin, Adolfo Lychevsky, Irving Mitchell, Soror Mujalali, Linda Nord, and Batsheva David. If you have other names, please add them to the chat. We also remember Evelyn Shapiro and Leonard Morris. Zichronam livracha, may all their memories be for blessing. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. B'yama divrach rute b'yamlich malchute. B'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. V'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam omei almayla. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitala v'yitalal shmei dekudashah birku. Leila min kol birkata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran b'yama v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shmaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. V'aseh shalom b'mermav. Hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
Shalom b'ramav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom. I wanted to give you some announcements for the week. This is Karen Breen. First of all of the events that up here in the Shalomogram you can get to by the same Zoom link. And if you're not receiving our emails, please do contact Olivia at tucker@rodefshalom.org, and they'll be glad to add you to the mailing list. They have the next slide. Thank you. So for this weekend, Shabbat services continue tomorrow morning. Torah study with Rabbi Henry will be tomorrow morning at 9:15. We'll have services at 10:30. And once again, we will welcome Turia Stark, our guest Cantorial Soloist. Thank you so much for joining us and with giving us your gift of music. It's really beautiful. I know, I apologize. You probably hear a little whining in the background. It's my dog who's waiting for me to take him out in the snowstorm. And I'll be thinking about your beautiful rendition of Hashkivenu and thinking about letting peace and friendship be my shelter in the storm. So thank you so much for joining us. And we're looking forward to tomorrow morning as well. But next week, interestingly, Friday evening, we'll be having a joint service with Temple Emmanuel and with Ohav Shalom. And so that will be available on YouTube. So may I have the next slide, please? So the Jewish Family and Children's Service, they have Jewish Family Community Service, I think is their new name, are working on a program to help refugees with filling out applications for green cards. I know that folks have done this before. It's been incredibly rewarding. If you'd like to join and do this, both Bob and Nancy Rosenthal have done it in the past, and please do contact Bob Rosenthal. I know that they need more volunteers. Thank you. Next slide. So I know I've heard from many of you that the programs that we've been doing in partnership with Classrooms Without Borders have been very inspiring, very interesting. And there's one coming up on January 14th about Primo Levi, and I know it will be just as fascinating as the others have been. There are also, if you go onto our website and onto Classrooms Without Borders website, you can get more details about the programs. I think that's all of the announcements, but I wanted to give a special thanks again to the worship team. Thank you so much to Rabbi Henry, to Don McGann, to Turia Stark. I wanted to give a special shout out to the tech team of Sabina and Peter Rosenfeld. Apparently it takes a village to replace the work that Olivia typically does, and tech, and I really appreciate it. If you noticed, I know that they were working in tandem to do that. I also wanted to just give you a little news from the staff world at Rodef Shalom. Many of you know Mike McHugh, and I wanted to let you know that at the end of 2021, Mike, who's worked at Rodef for 21 years, is retiring. And we wish him well in his retirement. We wish him a healthy and happy retirement. And also, there's a new baby on board. Marley Lyons, who many of you know, just gave birth to baby Emmett 2 days ago. So that's the news from Rodef Shalom. And I wish you all a safe and healthy Shabbat. Take care.
Shalom. Again, thanks to our worship team. Turia, it was just a pleasure. Don, Merry Christmas. Thank you for being with us tonight. Peter and Sabina, thank you for keeping us all on the same screen and on the same page. Really appreciate that. We'll conclude our service with Kiddush and Motzi, which will be led by Turia, pages 5 and 302 in the book. If you'd like to unmute yourself after that and say Shabbat Shalom, we'd love to say Shabbat Shalom back. Or not, Jay.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'tzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodesho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'ei kodesh zecher l'yitziat Mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodeshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
L'chaim. And while you're taking that sip, Tori, I'd like to thank Tom for lighting Shabbat candles tonight. I hope he serves as a role model for an inspiration for others who'd like to take us up on the invitation, the sincere invitation to lead parts of our service, blessings, Devar Torah, anything that you'd like to do, we'd love to include you. And now, Motzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
You too, Marcy.
Shabbat Shalom.
Seeing
Uncle
you.
Jay.
Great seeing you.
You too.
Margie, how many years is it since your father passed?
7,
Wow.
2013.
Mm-hmm.
Buried on his birthday.
Mm.
Oh, my.
Happy birthday.
Hi, Carol and Richard.
What birthday, Marge?
Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Sharon,
Yeah,
you
Where are
do
you?
like candles.
I do.
And
Oh,
you
you like?
are the light of the candle in the community.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
You
I
do a
agree.
lot of good.
What a lovely thing to say. Thank you.
Toria, thank you.
So guess what I'm
Tomorrow
eating for
morning.
dinner?
Chinese food.
Chinese.
Wasn't my choice.
We already
That's like a
did
good
it.
one.
I got outvoted.
We had Chinese with our kids here and in Philadelphia. We Zoomed together at 4.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping
That's
for
nice.
Thai.
What did you want instead, Rabbi Sher?
Rabbi,
Anything. Well, Thai would have been
We didn't
preferable.
see it.
Oh,
Rabbi, I understand that if you grew up in Cleveland Heights, you have to eat Chinese food.
Okay. Yeah.
We both grew up in Cleveland Heights. That's why.
oh, nice.
Went to the same high school.
Oh, is that something? Were you high school sweethearts? I guess, huh?
Much
I'm
older.
much
He's a
older.
couple years older than I
Few
am.
years
Oh,
in
oh.
between.
Much
My
older.
father also grew up in Cleveland Heights.
That's the best.
Oh, wow.
My mother's family came from there too.
Yeah, see?
Oh,
It's great.
small world, huh?
Yeah.
Peter, you can stop the live stream.
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to stop the
Yes, that's right. That's my last thing to do. Turn off the recording and